Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the League One Transfer Rumour Roundup. It is 3 weeks late, I do profusely apologise for that, and as I have left it so late once again, we do have a hell of a lot of things to talk about, so let's not waste any more time and let's get in to the completed deals that have gone through, or some of the completed deals that have gone through since the last episode, and there's a fair amount of them. We spoke about this one in the previous episode, but Lewis Wing has confirmed his move to Reading from Wycombe Wanderers on a free transfer. In what has been a pretty decent transfer window, all things considering, with Reading, they've signed some real statement signings, and I think Wing is probably the top of that bunch. You know, he scored a lot of goals and provided a lot of assists as well for Wycombe. Joe Pigott has returned to London and has signed for Leyton Orient following his contract being terminated at Ipswich. Again, I think this is a pretty decent signing. I think while he has struggled at League One level in the past 2 seasons with not just Ipswich, but also last season on loan with Portsmouth, he wasn't that great, but you have to look back to his time at AFC Wimbledon and you know that Pigott can still do it at this level, and I think that a move back to London, more familiar surroundings for him, could be a good move for him. And Reading also confirmed the signing of Manchester United youngster Charlie Savage on a permanent transfer, 4-year contract as well, a real statement of intent signing this one, so one definitely to build for the future. Of course, Savage spent the second half of last season on loan with the struggling Forest Green Rovers, but going to be interesting to see how he does fare with Reading. Obviously a massive step up, or a big step in his development. And another one we spoke about in the previous episode was Keshi Anderson. His move to Birmingham City from Blackpool has been confirmed. I'm a bit disappointed with this one. I would have thought Blackpool would have benefited a lot from Anderson being at League One level. Of course, struggled with injuries, but he has got his move to Birmingham City. Barnsley have completed the signing of Cardiff City striker Max Watters for an undisclosed fee. Certainly an interesting one, this one. Watters has struggled to really hit the back of the net regularly since leaving Crawley Town. Never really stuck it at Championship level, so it's going to be interesting to see how he does fare with Barnsley. A real statement of intent, this one, for Ian Evans' Bolton Wanderers, as they have completed the signing of Carlos Mendes Gomez from Luton Town. Of course, the midfielder did spend last season on loan with Fleetwood Town, where he got 8 goals and 2 assists. Really like the look of this signing. A midfielder that likes to get forward, be creative with his technicality and provide goals and assists. Really good signing, this one. My side, Charlton Athletic, completed the signing of Blackburn Rovers fullback Theo Edun. We did speak about this one in the previous episode. We had been linked with Edun since January last year, but the deal has now finally gone through after John Dale Thomason told Edun he would not be part of the squad this season. We have got the deal done for an undisclosed fee. It's a much needed cover in the left back department, considering we didn't actually have one. He's a left-footed left back as well, which is one we have badly needed and one we have struggled for the past few years. And Charlton also completed the signing of Burton Albion midfielder Terry Taylor. Again, another one to like as well. 22 years of age, very highly rated from the Brewers, was linked with a move to the Championship. Plymouth Argyle were heavily linked with the set-piece specialist, but it is Charlton that have got the deal over the line for a compensation fee of around 150k, so we have done very well with that one. A very decent little pickup there. If you guys would like to know more about the signings of Edun and Taylor, you can check out my Addicts Edition series. Carlo United have completed the signing of Coventry City striker Sean Maguire. Very interesting signing, this one. The Irishman has sort of struggled with injuries over the last few years with Coventry and Preston, but I think if Carlo can keep him fit, I think that's quite an exciting pickup. Northampton Town completed the signing of highly sought-after Brighton and Hove Albion midfielder Mark Leonard. He has been eyeing a move to League One for the past few years now, the past couple of seasons, and it is Northampton that have got a deal over the line for the player. We've spoken a few times on the channel about the pending departure of Jack Watmow from Wigan. It has finally gone through, as the centre-back has signed for Preston North End after forcing his way out of the club by contract termination due to the previous ownership situation. It's not a surprise really that Watmow has left Wigan this summer. I did fully expect him to leave. I think if Wigan were to keep him, they certainly, well, they would have had one of, if not the best centre-back at this level, but it is no surprise really that he has made the move to the Championship. Obviously controversial the way he has left with his contract termination, forcing his way out of the club. Bristol Rovers have re-signed Connor Taylor from Stoke City, this time on a permanent transfer. The centre-back was with the club in their promotion-winning season from League Two a couple seasons back. Real statement of intent, this one. Taylor was absolutely fantastic in that League Two season. And another big name Wigan Athletic player that has left the door is James McLean, who has signed for Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney's Wrexham. Very, very decent signing for Wrexham, this one. Obviously just another big name player that they've been able to bring in due to the lucrative budget that they do have. But again, not really surprising that McLean has left Wigan. I would have been very surprised if he would have stayed. Charlton youngster Aaron Henry has signed for Crawley Town on a season-long loan from the Addicts. I like the look of this one. I think it's a good signing for both parties really. The 19-year-old wasn't really going to get minutes minutes in our midfield this season, and I did think that he needed that extra experience at a decent level. I felt that maybe the National League would have been his most likely destination, but he has gone to League Two, albeit to a club that is just an absolute circus off the pitch, so it is a shame in that regard, but nevertheless, it is League Two football, and he certainly will get minutes. I wish Henry the best of luck. And Reading did confirm the signing of Birmingham centre-back Harley Dean following his trial with the club. Again, another likeable signing. This one, Dean was very impressive at his time with Sheffield Wednesday a couple seasons back while on loan. He's obviously fell out of favour at Birmingham City, and I think Reading have got themselves a very solid defender on their hands. Derby County have been looking to address the striker situation, and they have decided to re-sign Martin Waghorn from Coventry City. Very interesting one. This one, of course, reuniting with the Rams. Not that confident in saying that he's going to replace David McGoldrick's goals. Obviously, Derby is still in the market for a striker at the moment, and we'll get into that very later. Reading also captured the signing of experienced goalkeeper David Button from West Bromwich Albion on a free transfer. Again, pretty decent signing at League One level. Certainly will offer some much needed experience in between the posts. Blackpool have completed the signing of Brighton youngster Jensen Weir on loan for the season. Weir had been attracting interest from a number of other League One clubs. It was actually supposed to be a rumour to be discussed in this video. Reading, Derby and Portsmouth are reportedly interested in the midfielder, but it is the Seasiders that have got a deal over the line. Weir, of course, spent last season at this level with Morecambe, I want to say. So there are some of the completed deals that have gone through since the last episode. Again, I do apologise for not covering absolutely every single one of them, but I have said it in previous videos in the past. If I did do that, we'll be here till next week, and I don't want these videos going on for too long. So without any further hesitation, let's get into the latest transfer rumours. And we begin with some rumours that are actually now done deals, and funnily enough, the first two actually involve Crystal Palace youngsters, as Wycombe Wanderers have completed the signing of attacking midfielder Killian Phillips on loan from the Eagles for the season. The 21-year-old spent last season on loan with Shrewsbury Town in what I'm guessing was the second half of the season. He made 19 appearances, scoring 3 goals and getting 2 assists with an average match rating of 6.64. So certainly not a finished product at this level, but did fairly well with the Salop. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does fare with Matt Bloomfield's side. Obviously a much more competitive team, you would think, going into this season will be competing up towards the playoffs, although it hasn't seemed that way so far, with quite a disappointing start for the Chairboys, losing their first opening 2 games 3-0 to Exeter and Lincoln. And another Palace youngster that has been on the move recently is winger Scott Banks. The 21-year-old had been linked with a move with Blackpool and Blackburn Rovers in the Championship. However, he has now signed for German second division side St. Pauli in what is quite an interesting move. Of course, Banks did spend last season on loan with Bradford City at League 2 level. 31 games, 6 goals and 5 assists with an average of 1.2 key passes per 90 and 1 dribble. So certainly was an impressive player at League 2 level. I feel like Blackpool may possibly have missed the mark on this one. I think he would have offered something out wide for sure. Certainly an exciting option. We don't know whether the Championship would have been a step too far for him though, but he has gone to St. Pauli, so it's going to be interesting to see how he does fare over in Germany. We have spoken previously about Reading's interest in Theo Walcott. Obviously, since then, it has gone a little bit quiet. Apparently, he had been training with the club and a deal was in the pipeline. This was about a month ago now, but nothing has come to fruition since then. The latest reports are the Royals are still interested in Walcott. However, Bournemouth are also interested in the winger and are battling it out for his signature. It's going to be interesting to see how this does end for Theo Walcott, whether he does end up coming to Reading, where of course he will get regular minutes and will definitely be one of, if not the most exciting signing at League One level this season. Bournemouth would probably make the most sense though, obviously Premier League club. I don't know if he'll get any minutes for Bournemouth this season though with the squad that they are building, but yeah, going to be interesting to see whether he does end up with the Cherries or with the Royals this season at League One level. Personally, I would love to see him at League One level. I think it'll be a really exciting signing. Bristol Rovers reportedly have Portuguese centre-back Carlo Cardozo on trial with the club following his contract termination with Portuguese side Marítimo. It's been quite an interesting career for the centre-back so far. 22 years of age, he began his career in his native Portugal with Boa Vista before joining West Ham United. He played mostly for their, well, not mostly, entirely for their academy setup, never played a single minute for the first team for the Hammers. He has had previous loan spells from West Ham to Basel in Switzerland and also Real Betis' B side in Spain before joining Marítimo, where he didn't actually play a single game for the Portuguese club. Recently had his contract terminated and is now reportedly on trial with the Gas, and they have been offered the chance to sign him. He was previously valued at the time when he was at West Ham just under £3 million. So it's been a very interesting career since he has left West Ham, so it's going to be interesting to see how it does unfold and whether he will make the move to Bristol Rovers on a free transfer. 22 years of age, still think there could be a player there for sure. Whether he can do it at League One level though is another question. Obviously we'll add another option at the back alongside the likes of Connor Taylor, who they've recently signed, James Connolly. It's no secret that my side, Charlton Athletic, are in the market for a striker, and one striker that has been linked with us, and it's quite a bizarre one, I must say, is Jamaican Premier League striker Travante Stewart. I must say, I did laugh when I saw this rumour, and I'm still laughing about it now because it is just so out of the blue and completely out of the ordinary, because you never would have thought we'd been linked with a player from overseas, really. The last player we signed from overseas was, of course, Ronnie Schwartz. And, of course, we know that went really well, didn't it? But I do think there is an element of excitement when it comes to this one. Travante Stewart, 23 years of age, scored 18 goals in 26 games for his club Mount Pleasant in the Jamaican Premier League. Of course, you can only read so much into that because it is the Jamaican Premier League. The quality, or the golfing quality, should I say, from the JPL to League One will probably be quite vast. But nevertheless, he has had quite an impressive season over in Jamaica. His agent and his club president, obviously his club being Mount Pleasant, have basically confirmed that he is leaving the club, and it is reported that he has had offers from Charlton, a club in Slovenia or Slovakia, it was one of the two, I think it was Slovenia, and another club who apparently play in the top division in mainland Europe, who have offered him the most money. So it's going to be interesting to see where he does end up. For Charlton, obviously we do need another striker, and from what I've seen from clips of Stewart, he does seem quite pacey and a decent finisher. But of course, as I said, the translation from the Jamaican Premier League to League One, as I said, will be quite vast, and ultimately we do need a striker that can hit the ground running and score goals, because we've got obviously Alfie May, who at the moment I don't think is getting the right service in the system that we're playing, and Miles Leeburn and Chuck Sanike, who, while are both very good players at this level, are injury prone. So we do need someone to hit the back of the net, and I question as to whether Travante Stewart is going to be able to do that coming over from Jamaica. But it's going to be interesting to see where this one does unfold. It looks very likely that he will be coming to Europe, or it's basically nailed on that he will be coming to Europe. Whether he'll be coming to Charlton at Slovenia or the other unnamed club in mainland Europe is another question. In what is quite a shock rumour, Peterborough United striker Kabongo Semanga has reportedly received a £500,000 bid from Wrexham to move to the League Two side after only recently just joining Posh. Of course, Semanga did join Peterborough on loan from Chesterfield in January, initially on loan with the obligation to buy him. That deal, of course, was made permanent in only July. He featured 9 times in last season, the second half of last season, without scoring a goal. So very interesting, this Wrexham. Of course, obviously going to Wrexham, obviously the money that he's going to be receiving there will obviously be quite vast, and obviously we'll add another attacking option for Wrexham alongside the likes of Paul Mullin and Ollie Palmer. Me personally, I would like to see how Semanga does at League One level under a full season. As I say, only 9 appearances in the second half of last season without scoring a goal, and you probably would think that Peterborough would be looking to keep hold of him, as they are obviously attracting interest from a number of their key assets, who we will discuss a bit later. But yeah, you would naturally think that they would be looking to keep hold of Semanga, you know, with the likes of Clark Harris and Mason Clark already at the club. They'd be looking to keep him as another option. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where this does end up. We touched upon how Derby County have been looking to address the striker situation following the departure of David McGoldrick, and it's been fair to say it's been quite a woeful time for Derby as they've been looking to bring in a striker. Of course, they have recently just signed Martin Waghorn. However, they have missed out on a number of key targets, including the likes of Jordan Rhodes, Michael Smith and Matt Godden, all of which have fallen through. Beginning with Jordan Rhodes, reportedly a move did fail for the veteran League One striker, really. 33 years of age, played 34 games for Huddersfield in the Championship last season, scoring 5 goals. So it is very clear that he can still find the back of the net. Of course, 5 goals in 34 appearances is not exactly the greatest of returns. However, we know how good Rhodes is from his time at League One level previously, or just in general his time, a very, very clinical EFL striker. Whether he's going to be able to come down to League One though and get the goals regularly enough in his age, because he's not getting any younger now, is another question. But Derby reportedly have missed out on him. Another player that they reportedly missed out on is Sheffield Wednesday striker Michael Smith, who reportedly had a loan bid rejected for the club. Obviously would have been, in my opinion, a real statement of intent if Smith was to come back to League One level. The 31-year-old scored 18 goals and 7 assists for Wednesday last season. The year before that with Rotherham, getting 19 goals and 6 assists. So it's very clear that he is very clinical at League One level. But me personally, I don't think it's a surprise that Wednesday have rejected that. I think Smith is probably deserving of a chance to be in and around the first team at Wednesday, or at very least competing to get into the first team. I think he'd be decent cover with the goals that he has scored at League One level. Of course, a massive blow for Derby. As I said, very clinical striker at this level. But as I said, I don't think it's too much of a surprise that Wednesday have turned it down. And then as for Matt Godden, another player that I do rate quite highly at Championship level, the 32-year-old scored 8 goals and 4 assists for Coventry last season. The year before got 12 goals and 2 assists, and he's already got a goal to his name so far this season in the first opening 2 games. Derby were looking at him. I'm not entirely sure the circumstances of this deal, whether they are still looking at Godden, I'm not entirely sure. But if they were to get Godden in again, would be a very solid addition. But yeah, it's been quite a strugglesome time for Derby with their striker pursuit, I think. Speaking of Derby strikers, one striker has actually been linked with a move away from the club in James Collins. He had been linked with a move to Shrewsbury Town. However, it is looking very likely that he is set to stay at Derby County. I think it would make a lot of sense. I think Derby would be quite foolish, to be honest, to let Collins go when they are in the market for another striker. Obviously, Collins adds to the likes of Connor Washington and Martin Waghorn that they've got, and Collins, you'd have to say at the moment, is probably the most clinical of the three. And we do seem to finally have an answer in the Billy Sharp saga. I must say, it is quite a shocking twist, as Sharp is set for a move to the MLS with the LA Galaxy. Of course, Sharp has been linked previously with the likes of Huddersfield, Rotherham and Derby, of course, being the big suitor in terms of his signature. But it is now looking very likely that Sharp is going to Los Angeles. He's reportedly on his way there now to have a medical to complete test to sign for the Galaxy. Very interesting move, and I think a massive blow really for Derby and the other clubs that were interested. I think Sharp, while obviously a veteran and not getting any younger, I think certainly would have offered a goal threat at this level, at League One level. And yeah, big shame for Derby to miss out on him. But I must say, a very shocking and a very interesting and intriguing and exciting move with Sharp going to the MLS. We've spoken about a couple of Crystal Palace youngsters already in this video, and there is another one now. In forward John Kaimani Gordon, a number of EFL clubs are interested in his signature, bringing him in on loan. League 2, Bradford City, and League 1, Oxford United, Burton Albion and Fleetwood are all reportedly interested in him. That is coming from Football Insider. The 20-year-old spent last season on loan at League 2 level with Carlisle United. He made 10 starts and made 7 appearances off the bench in what I'm going to guess is the second half of the season. He scored twice, getting an average match rating of 6.51 with an average of 0.7 dribbles per 90. So again, not the finished product, but certainly could offer something for a number of these teams. These ones aren't really rumours as such, as I couldn't really find anything concrete in terms of a bid or negotiations or just any rumours in regards to these two in general, but I thought I would have a general discussion about them, and that is Peterborough United's Johnson Clark-Harris and Ronnie Edwards, as Posh are anticipating bids from the two players. I just wanted to have a general discussion really about the two, as it is looking, well, it's going to look very likely in my opinion that at least one or possibly both of them will be off come the end of the transfer window. Clark-Harris, I think I'm very surprised, to be honest with you, the fact that he's still here and still playing at this level. It's really surprising to me that no championship club has come in interested for him. Apparently, according to their owner, Dara McAntony, the clubs that have inquired about Clark-Harris, reportedly Charlton being one of them, he has said that the clubs can't afford him. So they're obviously going to be holding out to quite a big fee. And to be fair, why wouldn't you? That doesn't surprise me considering the goal record that Clark-Harris has at this level. But yeah, really surprised to see him still at League One level. But I do anticipate a bid to go through at least for Clark-Harris. And to be honest with you, I would be very surprised if he is still in a Peterborough shirt come the end of this transfer window. And the same applies to Ronnie Edwards. He's been linked with a Premier League move for a number of months now, probably since January or even long before that. You know, the likes of Bournemouth have been interested. McAntony, I think, said very recently that he is anticipating Edwards to leave the club come the end of the transfer window. So this is, again, going to be another interesting one to watch out for. I think I'll be very stunned if Peterborough do have both of them on their books come the end of the window, especially considering that Clark-Harris is out of contract at the end of the season. So, of course, they do run the risk of whether he doesn't leave the club now and they don't cash in for him come January when they look to get a fee for him, is going to be very unlikely, because ultimately he will be available on a free transfer in the summer. So you can only say that they'll be looking to cash in and get as much money as they physically can for him. Otherwise, they run the risk of losing him for a free. Following the club record sale of Alex Scott to Bournemouth, Bristol City are eyeing a number of players at League One level to come in and bolster their midfield options. One player that has been mentioned is Bolton Wanderers midfielder George Thomason. The 22-year-old had a pretty injury-disrupted season last year, featuring just 21 times for the Trotters. He is currently on Bolton's bench, and reportedly the Robins have offered £1 million for the player to make the step up to the Championship. It's obviously quite a risk considering he has struggled with injuries, and I think not just last season but even the year before. I think he played only 13 times the year before then. I think only 9 of them were starts as well. But he is still a young and promising player at 22 years of age. Apparently he's supposed to be a decent all-rounded midfielder, so it's going to be interesting to see where this one does unfold. 7-figure fee. One rumour for Bristol City that does excite me is Oxford United midfielder Cameron Brannagan, who I'm still honestly stunned he's still at this level, to be honest with you, after the many years of solid performances. He is, in my opinion, one of, if not the best all-rounded midfielder at this level. He is just so good. The 27-year-old has just consistently done it at League One level for the past few years. Focusing on last season, he got 9 goals and 2 assists in 44 games in what was a very poor Oxford side he was level levels above, in my opinion, everyone else in that team. He kept an average match rating of 6.89 with 1.8 tackles and 1.3 key passes per 90. So, like I say, the perfect all-rounded midfielder at this level. The past few seasons, according to WhoScored.com, he has consistently kept an average match rating of above 7 the past few years. So Brannagan is the real deal at League One level. He really is, and I think the move to the Championship, I think, is more than deserving for him. And I think Bristol City would be a good fit for him. Obviously, a massive blow for Liam Manning's side if they were to lose him. And like I said, I'm quite surprised that they haven't lost him a few years back. He had been linked with a Championship move. I remember when he was linked to Blackpool a few years back. But yeah, Brannagan linked to Bristol City. I would probably say Brannagan would probably be the preferred choice, in my opinion, if I was Bristol City over the two. Between the two of Brannagan and Thomason, I would say Brannagan would be the better fit, purely based off match fitness and the fact he actually gets into a League One team, and also due to his quality. But Thomason is obviously got age on his side, 22 years of age. He's supposed to be a promising midfielder. So that is it for this episode of the League One Transfer Rumour Roundup, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, can you possibly leave a like, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and turn on those post notifications so you're notified of every time I upload a new video. What do you guys think of the latest completed deals and rumours that I've discussed in this video? Let me know in the comments below. Did I miss any rumours out? Get them down in the comments below, and I may well cover them in the next episode. This has been Tyler Renison. Have a nice day, and I will see you all for the match reaction against Bristol Rovers on Wednesday. Take it easy, stay safe, and I'll see you all then.